Here we go. Okay. Another Wiersmerica Podcast. I got the White Lightning, the Speed Demon, Brody Anderson, here with us today. Now, he's a 24-year-old driver of sprint cars. Now, these are extreme sprints. They got 500 horsepower. They're light. They're fast. Open wheel. They're wild. I've been in one. They're exciting. So, here he is. Brody Anderson. What's going on, buddy?
A whole lot. We're just in Edmonton this week, and we're working on race cars and working on our pit mule that's going to come out for the first.
The pit mule.
Yep. So it's not going to be fully ready. We're just bringing it out to do some kinks, and so it's not going to be painted or whatnot. But we have it all organized. All the drawers are all.
Who gave you the pit mule? You buy it?
We bought it. We split it with Scotty Evans, and he's helped me a lot. He's a mastermind when it comes to metal, so he
welds it.
Welds, and you'll have to see it when it gets there. It's pretty cool. Like, it looks like a little Model T.
Really?
Yeah. And he's welded so much on it, and he's done so many cool things on it. You'll have to see it.
That's one of my favorite things to do is fabbing. I think fabbing, like when you, like, we got this, we got to make it dope. Mm-hmm. Like, how are we going to make it dope, guys? Yeah. Like, hey, maybe we should put something there. It's like, no, we should put something here. It's like, yeah.
Well, he's good at that. He can make anything look dope.
Sweet. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's start from the beginning. You're 24-year-old. You're driving sprint cars. You're a top competitor in our circuit. When did it start? Like, how old were you? Like, when did you fall? Were you racing when you were 5, or did you not care? Were you into video games? Like, there's a very big difference between video games and renting on a car. Video games requires no scuffed knuckles, and a car requires multiple scuffed knuckles and head getting hit by wings. When did it start?
So it started in 2010.
Okay.
I got it was like a Cavalier. So it was Christmas time. I opened up this box and there was a steering wheel in it. And I'm 10 years old and I'm like, what the heck do you do with this thing, right? So then they dragged me outside, and there was a orange 20, because that was our family number back when my dad and my grandpa raced, was 20. So there's an orange 20 there sitting there, and it was mine. And I raced at Edmonton International Raceway, which is a pavement track, for my first year.
So, like, this is like almost like a hobby stock or something?
Just a mini stock, so the 4-cylinder.
Right.
4-cylinder cars. And you're supposed to be 12 when you were there, so I was 10, turning 11. And
under the radar.
They ask you how old are you, you'd be like, 11, 12, right? So
11 and a half.
Yeah, 11 and a half. So we snuck in there for a bit, and then when I was 12, we moved to dirt mini stocks. And I
got
got
the track at Nisku.
We never raced at Nisku, but we raced in Rimby, and Sangudo we raced a couple times.
Yeah.
And then I got into the 600s when I was 12, just after 12, right? So
the 600s.
The 600 mini sprints, so the ones that race in.
Oh, okay, so those little go-kart super cars.
Yeah, the fast little cars.
Jesus,
I was 12 when I was
How was
there.
that? Because those things look insane.
Yeah, it was a big jump from a mini stock to going to a 600,
Sweet.
So, like, we raced those in Sangudo, and they were fast. Like, they were really fast, and I got really good at that, and we raced there quite a bit. And my dad actually raced with me in the 600s, and we had a decent class, and they still do have a decent class, And
yeah.
I've never raced the 600s in Edmonton, but it was a really good time in Sangudo. Like, it was just a perfect size track for them.
So it was smaller than the Nisku one?
Yeah, it was a little smaller and really high banked. And
Oh, so you could rip.
Yeah, you could rip on them things. And yeah, they're definitely the fastest cars on the track at that place.
So 10 years old, like, did you want to race? Or did your parents just get you a steering wheel and you were racing? Like, was there because there must have been a heavy desire, like you pecking at them. I want to drive. Or was that it?
Well, there was a time where my dad raced hobby stocks.
Yeah.
and I would go with him.
That's Jason, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we would go. Me and him would go to Rimby, or we went to Sangudo, and I'd be his pick guy.
Yeah.
And we would race together, and then eventually that's when he decided to beg my mom for me to get my own race car.
And then your dad, so your dad and your grandpa both raced. Was it ever, they just raced hobby stocks?
Yeah, they were more of I call them taxi cabs. They were mostly just full body cars.
Just smashing into each other.
Yeah.
Just rednecking hard.
Yeah.
Just half cut probably.
But yeah, my grandpa raced, and he actually, the one weekend, I wasn't racing 600s anymore, or maybe we were, but we weren't there that weekend. But my family went, other than my dad. He was working, and I raced for Corey Rundle. He races he owns a hobby stock now, but he had a super stock, and I raced it the one night, and I did not do well. I'm not a very good taxi cab driver. Like, I'm not good with fenders.
You need more beers in you. No, you don't have enough lucky in you.
No, I just need real race cars, just real sprint cars. But I raced and I didn't do too well. So then my grandpa was working in the area, and I called him, and he jumped in it, and he actually won that night.
Really?
Yeah, at like 65 years old, like he just spanked the whole field. It was pretty cool.
Wow, badass. So when did you start getting, like, when was the itch for sprint cars? Because that's next level. Sprint cars is fucking nuts. Like, it is. I've only been in it a few times, and when you have that car dialed in, and it just grabs that, honestly, I can feel it now. Like, I never had the car do what it did that one night last 2 weeks ago on the Friday, where it was pedal to the metal, never lifting up, and it just
did what it wanted to do.
It ate that ground and didn't spin, and it was like, holy crap, this is insane.
Yeah.
So when did this happen? How old were you when you kind of found yourself into the sprint cars?
So I was in the 600s, and they're basically a sprint car. They're identical in parts and stuff.
Yeah.
Just the power is a little different. Like 600s, they're pretty quick.
Yeah.
But it takes them a couple laps to get quick, whereas a Sporty is quick now, and same with a 360, it's quick right when you touch the gas. So
oh yeah, it's pure.
So I was into sprint cars right when I got into the 600s, but then in 2014 we got our own sportsman sprint car.
Yeah.
So I was 14 or whatever, and we've been racing them since, and I got into the 360s eventually in 2018. And then, the classic.
They're expensive.
They're expensive, and...
So you still got your car all ready to go, like,
No.
for a 360, or you sold them all?
I sold my motor and stuff. It's just... It died here, and then to go down there every weekend and to compete, I don't have the money to compete with them. Like, they got some killer motors, and they got really good cars, and they put new tires on every race, and I just can't do that.
No. And that would be like the American tours, right?
Yeah, like the one in Great Falls, like in Montana area, and that was the one that we were kind of going in. We're doing the Edmonton and a little bit of the Montana, but
how did you finish in that? Were you competitive?
I was not. I won one heat race for the 2 years that I raced with them, and that was huge to me just because what we had compared to what the guys that were behind me had.
Right.
But I think probably the best, I don't think I've ever got a top 5 in the 360s when I was racing there, because
and were you got A main or were you B main?
Yeah, I was in the A mains. There was a couple times where there wasn't enough for an A main, but for the most part everyone was in the A main. But I would finish in the top. Like, I'd finish from anywhere from 6th to 10th, but I could never get in the top 5. It's just, you had Kyle or Casey Adams, and you had Sean McNamara, and you had Mark Dupron.
Mark Dupron was in that?
Yeah, he's a really good. All those 3 guys, and then you had the odd, like Kyle Evans. He's really good, and you had guys that were really good, and They had good equipment, and they're just hard to beat. And they're
What
just
about Miller?
yeah, he would be the one in the top.
Because he's one of the top dogs now, right?
Yeah,
in that circuit. He's
is.
a real amazing. Because he almost does it. He can do it he makes money now.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how his financial things are, but he could make money because he's been going to shows and placing really well. So
yeah, so
that would be the dream one day. But I just, like I said, I can't afford the startup, I guess, to get
not
there.
yet.
Right?
You
Not
can't
yet.
afford it yet.
Not
I mean, you were driving those extreme sprints at 14 or 16, right?
14, yeah.
So I mean, and that's not a cheap race car either.
No. But I've been very fortunate with my sponsors and, people that help me out, like, for the long, like, from COVID kind of to 2 years ago, so 2022, Scott Shaw, like, I raced his cars all the time, I would help him and he would help me and he would give me a car and we would kind of race together.
Like
so,
my dad too.
Yeah, and your dad, the one time, actually that's how it started. I was racing Scott Shaw's stuff and we blew the motor and your dad gave me the car for the rest of the season and that was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So I've been really lucky to have really good.
Well, you're a good driver too, and you're a winner. I think when you're a winner, that's a big advantage as well.
I guess, yeah, that probably helps. But, you treat people awesome and they'll treat you awesome too.
And I think like the Edmonton community is pretty solid.
Yeah, they are all, like, they're all nice.
They're supportive. Like, I've just been in this, I'm like a tourist, right? So I just barely been in this community and just like the amount of support of the fans, it's pretty crazy. When I post a video, like there are people just coming out of the woodworks. I don't even know that are just fired up about seeing sprint car racing,
Well, you and me are like the only ones that really get into the dirt stuff, like social media stuff.
Yeah.
So to have someone posting stuff, I think people love it because people love Facebook, right?
And people love racing, and they like the community. Mm-hmm. Like they like the people in the community.
They do, and they're trying to keep the sport alive up here,
Yeah. I think that's another question. So how would you do that? How do you keep this dirt track racing? How do you keep it going? Like how would you what would you do?
One of them was to advertise, and they've been doing a killer advertising. I noticed when I was driving up here, actually on the radio, they were playing.
Yeah,
they were playing.
I heard it.
They were playing it, and I saw the Facebook ad, and they're putting in the work to get the fans. Like last weekend, they had really great fans.
They did.
Like that's the fullest I've seen since pre-COVID days.
Pre-COVID, right? Yeah. COVID was a killer for a lot of things.
It was, yeah.
How do we so how would you make this show better? So here you are, you're kicking butt, you're racing, you're flying. How do we make this dirt track racing into this spectacle that everybody wants to go to? Bigger crashes? Cheaper liquor maybe.
Cheaper liquor, cheaper admission, say you get 1,000 people at $25 a head, or you get 10,000 people at $10 a head, right? Or $5, you're making more money.
Right. And then it just becomes a habit.
More. Yeah, and you make it a habit and you make it like where people want to go, You need better car counts too,
Well, those will come if there's people watching, because
that's the thing. It's all a cycle.
Yeah.
If there's people in the grandstands, the racers can get paid. If the racers are getting paid, there's more cars going to come, and it's just a cycle. And the spectators don't want to see 4 cars racing each other. They want big crowds. So
they want big crowds, and they want flips. They want a radical. No one will say it, but they want crashes, and they just don't want the guy to be hurt. No, which is hard to do.
Yeah, it is hard to do, but
it's funny. When I was a kid, I always wanted the crashes too. But now that I'm in this seat, it's just like, fuck, man. Like, I do not want to crash.
Yeah.
Like, I do not want to hurt the next day. Okay, so you've been top dog for how many seasons now? You've been the guy to beat. So right? Is that for 3 seasons now? Your top competitor?
For the last 2 seasons, definitely.
Who won on 3 years ago?
3 years ago, there wasn't. It was between me and I can't remember his last name, but his name was Ben.
Yeah.
He was really good too, and he had a really good car.
Where's he?
They sold their stuff, or they went to 360s, and now they're selling their stuff. But
Yeah.
me and him had some, and that's when I drove your dad's car that year.
Right.
So we did win a bunch of races, but they were a battle too, because he was always right behind me, kind of thing, and yeah.
So how do you what's been the change from, let's say, 4 years ago to the third year, and now you're one of the top guys winning races now? So did you just get older? You're just more confident? You have better equipment? Like what drives the winning machine? Because it's a very specific thing. Like when there's a guy that constantly wins, there's a certain mentality, you know. So like what shift changed? What happened?
That's a good question. Yeah, I would say a bit of everything, but like I still struggle with confidence. Like last year even, we got into, so the 2 years before we were in Scott Shaw's cars, and I had the setups for those, and like everything worked every night. It worked. And then your dad and I bought the team out. Me and him worked together, and I was able to get the motors from him, and your dad took the cars and
Right.
a couple parts and stuff, and so I took the motors and I put them back into my car that I had in my garage.
Yeah.
And my setups didn't match my 360 setups, and I was struggling last year for the good half of the season.
Oh yeah, you were.
Like
Yeah, you were.
I won a couple races. I think I won one right at the start, but in between June and August, I struggled.
Yeah.
Like the middle of August until, I had really good help between Corey Goodhope. He gave me some pointers, and Brian Adams, that's Casey Adams' dad, he helped me out a little bit. And
Was that just getting the car set up?
yeah, because it's a Maxim. I was racing a Triple X, and it's just, I didn't think there was a difference, but now I know there is a bit of a difference between setups. And yeah, so they helped me, and then actually Kenny Setters helped me a lot too. And between those three, a lot of it from Kenny Setters, he helped me a lot. And
What do you mean? So like, what did you like call these guys? Hey, guys, I'm having troubles. Can you please help me get this car set up? Like, and then they would come to your tow field place and start wrenching.
well, so Brian Adams and Corey were just kind of phone calls and talking to Corey
Yeah.
Goodhope, but Kenny, I actually lent his son James Setters my motor last year at Extreme Cup, and they raced it for 4 nights.
Yeah.
4 nights, and I got some shocks out of it and a bunch of setup help, and he pretty much told me everything he knew about setting up a sprint car, and I was there writing it down the whole time.
Okay.
And yeah, so I use majority of his stuff I use, and like his son was a top dog whenever he comes to Edmonton, or when we go down to Great Falls, he's the guy to beat there.
Okay.
So he helped me out a lot, and yeah, I gained a lot of knowledge, and I put that setup in my car, and I actually won 3 out of the 4 races at the end of the season. So he helped out immensely.
And how did it because that's pretty interesting, because like until that one race, then I understood what a well set up car is. Did you notice a huge difference? You're like, okay, I completely understand that these are not the right shocks for this frame and this stagger. Is that kind of what you kind of learned from Sutter?
Everything's that I've known is, it's crazy that you, me, everyone can have a different setup and they all will work. It's just how it kind of works and how it works with the drivers.
Right.
Like my stuff was close, but it wasn't where I am now. And yeah, it just, if you're perfect, then you're just that much faster, right?
It's insane. Just grips.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then, where do you see yourself going with the extreme sprints, or is your goal eventually to get like full-time 360? Because clearly you have fans, right? I think you have like 80,000 followers, right?
80,000? No, I don't think. Not 80, but I can't remember what my number is, but
You got a good chunk.
I got a good following, and I got a lot of people that are always sharing my stuff and interacting. I got good. You are right. I got 80,000.
I think total.
Not followers, but like engagement. I got 80,000.
Right.
Engagement and however much interaction. Right. So I do have a lot of fans and a lot of great people that follow me. And that's the key to racing now.
That's the key to racing.
You need to be good on your social media.
You need to win, and you need to be good on your social media, and you need to be a character.
Yeah.
So like, is that the mission? Is that the goal for Brody, is to continue to grow this social media, continue to win races, and then hopefully start getting to the American circuits?
Yeah, that's what my plan is right now, is growing my social media. And I've been buying a lottery ticket every Friday, trying to win the lottery to buy it.
Poor man's hope. Poor man's hope.
I'm kidding, but eventually I would like to get back into the 360. It's hard to see what the future is for racing in Alberta. I think it's going to be good, just the way that the track has been improving on stuff, and they want to put effort in and time, so I will support that until I can't anymore.
Right. And what do you mean by that?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, you're gonna support that until you can't. What's the can?
Either I can't race anymore, or they aren't. The world's not gonna let dirt sprint cars drive around racetrack anymore, or maybe we have to go to electric sprint cars, right?
No, that'll never happen.
So you never know with the world, so I want to keep supporting it, but if I got a phone call tomorrow saying, hey, come drive my 360
down the States,
I'm probably gone, but
screw work.
But reality is probably not going to happen until I grow my social media a little bit more.
Okay, that's, and what's your, I guess, because that's an interesting question. How are you going to do that? You must have a plan.
I got a bit of a plan.
What's the plan, man?
Just like on growing my social media?
Yeah, because it sounds like if you can get more exposure with social media, then you can do the 360s down the States and be part of that circuit, right? Now, if you continue to win here, like the main thing is just winning. You got to be a winner. Winning, no one likes winning, and then that project social media, because people like to follow winners. Like, no one likes to follow losers unless you're one hell of a character.
Yeah.
Like, I think last year I saw those two brothers. They were in the hobby stocks, and they were all redneck to fuck. They had pit vipers on, mullets. I think they were fighting sometimes. They were awesome. I don't even know them. I never met them, but I knew who. I remember those mullet wearing sons of guns, and they, I think, had a good following because they were characters. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if they were winning. You just look nuts.
You got to be good at your social media, and you'll get a following. That's fine. So I need to get better still. I try to post every day if I can, kind of thing. But it's tough. It's a second job, and I got about 3 of them between racing, my regular job, and social media, right? So you got.
Oh yeah. So you gotta almost what I try to do now is try to incorporate it. So if I'm working on the sprint car, I try to get as many stories or quick videos of minimal editing, and then just posting out in there.
Yeah. No, I try to do that a bit, but then again, it's tough because
because as soon as you start going, you're like, I just want to work on this.
No, exactly.
All right. So, what about first crash? How did your first crash go? Big one. I want the flips, the dips.
Well,
what went through your head? So here you are, you're driving the sprint car, you're going, bah, 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 bah. And then, boom. What happened?
Knock on wood, I haven't flipped since 2015.
Okay.
And they weren't, and I flipped 3 different times that year. 2015 was probably my worst year of sprint car racing. I crashed. I think it was Extreme Cup I crashed, and that one was okay. Then my second time I crashed.
But describe, like, were you, as soon as you went in the air, were you just like, oh, fuck?
Well, that one wasn't bad. I just kind of toppled over. My second time, I was in Rimby. We were racing in Rimby, and we were just doing hot laps, and I biked the car up, and it came down and broke the bead off the tire. So the tire was flat, so I was pulling off as we were under caution laps, and this guy, I can't remember who it was, he saw me turning off, and he thought he could beat me to turning off as I was turning off. So he was like stepping on it under caution flag, and he stepped on it and hit me, and I think I rolled from it's pretty much right where at Edmonton is the back gate. I flipped from there all the way to the guardrail going into corner 3. Just rolled to and I was going so slow. It was just bang, and you could just bang, and then all of a sudden like 4 or 5 times, and it was like, it felt like I was in there forever, and then finally it stopped. I'm like, am I good to get out, or is it gonna flip one more time? But
how banged up were you?
I was good. We raced the next day.
Okay.
In Edmonton, but yeah, it was. I haven't been in a severe crash like some other guys have been.
Yeah, like Chevy Good Hope.
Yeah, he's been in a few.
Vertebrae.
Yeah.
It's like, it's serious shit, man.
No, it is.
It is. So then, another thing is, what's your view on discipline? Like, clearly, you keep your shit tight for your racing. So, what? How do you keep your discipline? Some guys just show up there for fun, they're like, whatever. They have a la-di-da system, but you seem like you're one of the more tighter setups,
Yeah, so being a lower budget team, I have to really take care of my stuff. So, the time in the shop is like, I need to do these things, and I need to do them good, and I need to maintain my things, or else I'm gonna have to buy new stuff, and I don't want to do that, nor do I. It's just not feasible to do that every time. Right. I go through my whole fuel system every weekend after we're racing, right?
Make sure all the filters are clean.
Make sure all the filters, blow all the fuel lines out. I take the bars out. I grease them every week.
Do you love it? Is it like almost like a methodical therapy? Like you're going through your routine. You're like, oh, that's nice.
No, I don't love it, but I love the sport. So
right.
It's like the crappy parts of having a job, right? So
right.
It's not the best part, but it's kind of fun to, when you're in the shop, you kind of learn new things, and you kind of think sprint car science, and you're thinking better ways to set up your car. And
oh yeah.
So
do you have a crew that comes and helps you, or is it just you?
I have my dad, and my grandpa comes, and I have Scotty Evans and Bruce, he helps, and I have a few people behind the scenes that, help do little things like feed us, and like Lisa, she feeds us, and my mom, she washes my race suit. I have, and Lisa washes my race suit. I have a bunch of people that help me behind the scenes, but cool. So it is a lot of work, but I also have a lot of people helping me.
That's nice. That's pretty badass, to have all those extra hands.
Well, people want to help winners too, right?
And you have to win. That's what my uncle said. Uncle Johnny, the one-armed bandit, Johnny Wiersmerica, he said, you have to win. And then things are easier. Can't be crashing. People don't like you crashing.
Because they got to help you fix your stuff. And
I
don't want to fix my stuff either. I try to do it quick and be done so I can do other things during the week, but there's times where you spend a couple hours a night working on stuff so you can you can race.
After this podcast, I'm going to go work in sprint cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know the feeling. And so your grandpa, does he still come out to the tracks and stuff?
Yep, he still comes out.
Has racing taught you anything else that you apply to just normal life? So, you're part of building a car. You obviously you inspire a team. Is there anything that you would say, hey, I took this from racing and I can apply it here, and this is just one of those great life lessons that racing taught me?
Patience is a really good one that I've learned from racing.
I'll give me an example.
Well, I have two. Like racing. So you're racing the car. You could pass this guy, but you could also not pass him, and then you're gonna show him your line, and then he's gonna take it. So you gotta wait until there's a time to pass him properly, and then take that spot and keep racing in the lead.
Right.
Because there has been times where I show them my nose, and then they come down, or they go up, and then away they go. So I've learned to follow guys until I can pass them around the corner properly, or pass them down the straightaway properly, and then I take it.
Okay.
And in the shop too, patience is key. I've thrown so many screwdrivers through the wall because things don't line up, or things fall off, or things aren't working, and I've learned to calm down when I'm doing that and just take patience, and I do everything perfectly. Like if the rear end needs to be a certain way, I'll work until it's that, or it's everything's perfect, and I've applied that to my business, and I've applied that to schoolwork, and
right.
Yeah.
Now we got Can-Am coming up tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a big one. One of the bigger events here in Edmonton. Who you worried about? Who could beat you?
Anyone could really beat me,
No, that's not what I mean. Anyone can beat you if you crash, right? But like, who is like, okay, we got Declan Fleming, we got Johnny Wiersma, and you got the Americans coming in.
Yeah, so I don't really know who's coming from the States. Obviously the Fleming boys, they can beat me. They've done it before.
Which one's the better one? Let's stir some pots here. Who are you more concerned about?
I don't know. After last week, and it might be Declan, because
Paxton keeps blowing fucking motors.
He put up a fight. I threw some sliders that I thought would stick and would kind of scare him away, and he was right there the next corner trying to pass me. So, after last weekend, I was pretty impressed with how he was driving, and maybe he's a concern this year. And I got Kyle Evans, and he's a great guy that I've always raced against since I was.
Is that 56?
No, that's number 2.
2R, yeah.
So just 2. He didn't come out last weekend.
Oh, gotcha.
He races that out of that big red truck and trailer.
Okay.
He's a really good competitor. Like I said, I raced with him since I was 14, and he's kicked my ass a lot. So
okay.
And he still can. So yeah, and it depends who all comes out. Like I said, there could be, it'd be cool to get more sporties out, especially guys like that I used to race.
Yeah.
Like Chevy, Good Hope, or Casey Adams or Sean McDonnell. Like those guys were, that would be such a great battle now that I'm a better driver.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd still beat me, but I'd put up a way better fight than when I was 14 years old, 15 years old, because those guys were the top dogs in the sporty division.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah.
And then what about the Americans? You know which ones are coming up?
I don't know. I feel like Ian Myers is gonna come out. He's a newer driver, but he's definitely getting a lot of seat time with a 360 and a sporty. But yeah,
sweet.
I feel like a Canadian's gonna win this one.
We got it.
Yeah.
We
And we're gonna come down. We're gonna go down there and
we're gonna take them as well.
Yeah.
Run them out of their own town. All right. Final question. Here you are. You're on your deathbed. You're about to die. You have any regrets yet? I know you're quite young, but any regrets?
Not yet, actually.
You have no regrets.
I do.
Well, I want to know them. Give me the dirt.
Racing wise, I wish I wouldn't have sold my 360 in a way, just to see what I could have done with it.
Okay.
To keep going, because we raced for 2 years in the 360, and then I ended up getting some help with Roger at NADP. He helped me with getting a 360 engine.
Yeah.
And we bought it off of Casey Adams, which was a really reputable 360 racer, and he had good engines and he had good cars. So we bought an engine off him. I had a feeling it was going to be a great season, and then COVID happened. And then I decided to sell it and stick to the sporties. And it would have been cool to keep it and race down there, but...
Right. Yeah, racing. Because I think that's where... the Americans take it so much more serious than us.
It's the rodeo of Canada. Our rodeo is big here in Canada.
Yeah.
In the States,
it's
rodeo's here, dirt track racing, where it's the other way around in Canada.
Because you could race every single day,
you can.
all year round in America. They're rednecking.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
we live in the wrong country for that.
Yeah, and I think because it's just such a bigger demand, you could just survive more on if you're good. Even if you're upper pack, you could probably make it into a career.
Yeah, well, you're getting paid every week.
Yeah.
Or every night too, and
Decently.
yeah, there's good prize money every night, and there was at one point here, but it's getting better. We just need to grow it into something like it was before. Like the 360s, it was $1,500 to win and $300 to start a main, so it helped a lot, right?
Yeah.
Every night, it's better than what it is right now. But like I said, the way things are shaping out for them, I hope it works, and it seems like they're trying to put money into it to better the track.
Yeah.
So, maybe in the future months or years, we will get paid and there will be a better car count, because there's a lot of sporty cars just sitting in their garage with an inch of dust on them. So
Just waiting
for some money, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's sad to see them sitting there, but...
Well, if you get, again, eyeballs, because most of them are dudes, and dudes like attention.
Mm-hmm.
And dudes that are race car drivers really like attention, because they kind of have somewhat of it feels good to be a winner. It could be like, yeah, I'm a big racetrack. It feels good. So if there's more people showing up, like you said, it's just that cycle, and it's just getting that blood involved. It's getting people, and an answer is social media. That's what it is. It's social media. People seeing the cars. No, most of my friends don't even know there's a track out by Nisku.
I know we do car shows and we hand out free tickets to the racetrack, and they're like, what's this for? And it's like, oh, there's a racetrack right across the highway. Go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't know, but that's from not advertising, right?
100%.
When the World of Outlaws were here, grandstands would be packed full of people.
Oh yeah.
Packed. And there was people with beer in their trays, and they walked around and they passed out beers, and it was just a way better run place.
And the best part too, if they could sell it it's almost like a festival. You can just bring your camper, you can camp out, get shit-faced, and then go watch the races the next day. You can even bring your quads and go rip around quad in the back. It's everything for a redneck rodeo, It tucks all the bars.
It would be it would just be awesome if they could set it up where there was spectator camping, and they could just have as many drinks as they wanted to at a reasonable price, right? Because you're not going to get drunk off $10 beers. But if they could have a spot to stay and have a spot to hang out all weekend, and then they could walk over and watch the drags during the day and then come over for the nightly races at the oval. It could be a whole weekend event, or after the oval races, put up a concert, have a decent named concert guy sing a good band and play some music and have a big crowd there even after the races.
People would love that. People would love that. And you just make it into it's an entertainment event that involves racing. You just get a whole package. If you had there's a couple of just local bands or something. You just set up a shitty stage and you have all the campsites all there.
Yep. That's what we did in Swift. They had after the races they had a band there playing, and we'd go there after everyone had our car all cleaned up, and we'd put her in the trailer and we'd go hang out at the.
And you hang out with fans.
Yeah.
It's money.
Oh, they love it, right? Like if you're talking to fans, they think we're celebrities in Edmonton. They think, right?
I know.
So especially the little kids, they think we're just these amazing race car drivers, but you gotta feed into that and give it to them because they love it. And last weekend, I gave my trophy away to this one kid.
Yeah. And
he's my biggest fan now, right? He just loves me.
Got another one.
Yeah. He just loves me. He came, he jumped in my car. You gotta hang out with the fans because that's how you gain more fans.
100%. And fans make the sport good.
Yep.
Badass.
And make your social media better.
That's the ticket. That's what it's all about. All right. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. I'm going to get you back on probably end of the season.
Sure.
If you're winning.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
A three-peat or whatever you would call that.
A three-peat?
Hopefully.
What do you mean, hopefully?
Well, 2022, 2023, and then hopefully 2024.
Hopefully. Unless the Fleming boys take you down, or the Wiersmerica boys start ratcheting in there, just getting our fingers dabbing in there.
You never know.
My brother got that dirty win the last year.
Yeah.
I think he was in fourth. There was two guys crashed. One guy was overweight, and he just snuck her right in there.
Yeah, I remember that.
The greasiest win. But a win's a win, baby.
A win's a win, yeah.
That's another thing about driving is, man, shit can happen. All it takes is one person to take you down, and there's the two top dogs gone. Mm-hmm. Third goes.
That's one thing you'll learn when you start racing. You just get aware of your surroundings, and I know where my back tires are. I know where my front tires are. I know where my bumpers are. And you just kind of, when you get good, you start to realize where these are, so you know where you can fit in.
Yeah. And
when you're racing someone's up high, when to stop kind of thing. So there's the odd time that you don't know.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you do have an understanding of where and that's the key of getting good. You get good awareness, and then it gets better from there.
Yeah, watching you and Declan, you guys are this when we're just getting in lineup, you guys are bobbing and weaving. I'm like, God damn it, you can't do that. You're so close to people. Yeah, that's cool, man. Racing's badass. All right, well, thanks there, Brody. That's wicked.
Well, thanks for having me, and I guess I'm going to say a couple other things. Follow me on Anderson Motorsports and Promotions on Facebook.
There we go.
I got an Instagram too. And I'm selling t-shirts and hoodies right now. So get on my Facebook or Instagram and order some t-shirts.
All right, anything else?
Thanks for having me.
Cool. Sweet. Awesome. Did it.